Here we are catching up with Tyler Larsen, and he represents the offensive line. That entire group, our player of the game. Young man, I tell you, for the time you guys have played together, you really have gelled, haven't you?
Absolutely. I mean, we just keep that camaraderie and, get after it every single game. We take pride in what we do, and it shows on the field every week. We're football players. We're here to win. No matter what happens, we're here to win. We're not here to just play for any spot or anything like that. We're here to compete. We're here to show people what we do.
I'm Josh Scott, and I have Carolina on my mind.
DeLome fires to an open Smith. Steve Smith is going to go all the way. No flags down. Smith scores, and the Carolina Panthers win in overtime.
On a 3rd and 14.
Newton running. Newton gets to the corner. Cam down the sideline. Cam Newton. Hesitation. Still on his feet. Cam Newton. Touchdown, Carolina. What a play. 3, and here they come. It's Kuechly who gets to Manning back at the 9. Newton to the end zone. What a catch by Greg Olsen. Spectacular. And she loses the football. Scooped up by Burns. Ryan Burns to the house.
McCaffrey picks up the first down. Has some room. Makes a man miss. Christian McCaffrey in the open field. Inside the 30. Inside the 20. McCaffrey touchdown.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Carolina On My Mind podcast, where we talk anything and everything Carolina Panthers, and today's episode is going to be a little different. In this episode, I sat down with special guest Tyler Larsen, former center for the Carolina Panthers, a 5-year veteran out of Utah State. He gave his perspective on how this past season went for the Panthers with all the changes that have been going on in that franchise. So without further ado, here is my interview with former Panthers center Tyler Larsen. Welcome back to the Carolina On My Mind podcast, where we talk anything and everything Carolina Panthers. I'm Josh Scott, and today I have a special guest joining me today, former center Tyler Larsen for the Panthers. Tyler is a 3-time all-conference selection out of Utah State. He signed with the Miami Dolphins in 2014 as an undrafted free agent. And the next year in 2015, he signed with the then known as Washington Redskins. And then the following year in 2016, Ron Rivera persuaded him to come to the Queen City, who now just so happens to be the head coach of the now known as Washington football team. All that to say, thank you for coming on the show today, Tyler. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So to start off, I guess from your eyes, how did this past season go overall for the Panthers? It's safe to say that when you arrived here in 2016, the team looks a lot different now in 2020.
Yeah, I think with the new coaching staff and how young of a team we were, didn't quite go as well as we would hope. You always want to make the playoff run, but I think as a team, we really got to see the type of talent that we have, and I feel like the team really gelled together well. Just knowing overall schemes, offensively, defensively, and special teams wise, to be a really good team in the future.
You mentioned the coaching staff. What were your first impressions of new head coach Matt Rule and his coaching staff? Because prior to him, you had only been coached by one other person, and that was Ron Rivera, who again I mentioned is now with Washington. So, what are your first impressions of how Matt Rule coaches a team?
He's a very competitive guy, and I think he does a good job at bringing that competitive nature out on the practice field to get guys going. Every single day we called it Team Compete, and it was basically, we would have a competition. It just really brought us out every single day to kind of get that game speed type of reps during practice. And he's really good at helping or allowing position groups to do their own thing, but at the same time bringing everyone together. And the stuff that he has there, I think, I've was with the offensive side, obviously. So just seeing that staff alone, I think, he's doing a really good job at bringing the right candidates there to help players be successful and getting to where they need to be.
What have you enjoyed the most about your time with this franchise? Is there a specific memory that stands out, a specific season, maybe a specific play on the field that sticks out the most to you? Talk to me about that.
I mean, I'll never forget my first start in the NFL when we were up at Washington in 2016. The year after that, I was able to have 12 starts during the season, and we ended up making a playoff run that year. And that was just really cool to be, actually starting and having a successful season. And then the next year, I was able to sign an extension, and that was a really cool experience, having my first extension and contract to sign. That wasn't just a minimum or just a thing where we had zero say or zero negotiation. So that was cool to do. And this last season was probably one of my most favorite offensive line groups I've ever been a part of. So I really enjoyed, every single year has its little memory and a special moment.
You mentioned that first start in Washington, I believe. I heard there was over 400 yards of offense in that game. So pretty memorable first start, to say the least, in that game in Washington. But my last question for you, I want to stray a little bit away from football. Back in this past December, it's in 2020, you talked about the Panthers came and interviewed you about your son Ty's autism diagnosis. Talk to me about Ty's tribute, the hashtag My Cause, My Cleats partnership you have with the Taka Foundation.
It was a really cool opportunity to be able to not only kind of do a spotlight on my son, but also for Taka and how much they, really impact people with someone diagnosed with autism in their life. And it really has gotten a lot of good feedback from what we're hearing from the founder of the foundation. We are now in talks with her, and we're trying to figure out more things to do in ways to, use my platform to reach out to people. And I personally have a very, special spot in my heart for new dads that have this diagnosis with their children. And so I'm starting to make a push for that and trying to reach out to new fathers and learning how to respond and how to deal with this new thing that's impacting their life. And the main goal for us is to just let everyone know that there's hope and that there's so much you can do for your child. And there really are endless opportunities for you to connect with your child or to help them out the best that you can.
That's great to hear. I'm glad that progress is going well with that. Once again, thank you, Mr. Tyler Larsen, for coming on the show. And thank you for making the time. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Yep, no problem. Thank you.
Special thanks to Tyler Larsen for coming on the show. And make sure you go follow him on Twitter, as well as check out his interview with the Panthers back in December, where he talks more about his son Ty's autism diagnosis and his partnership with the Autism Community in Action, aka Taka Foundation. That link for that video will be posted in the description below. Make sure to stay tuned for my next mock draft video coming in March. I'll be looking at defensive needs for the Panthers in preparation for the NFL draft in April. And make sure to check out my previous video as well, which looks at offensive needs that I believe the Panthers will target this offseason. But make sure to stay tuned for the next mock draft video soon. As always, make sure to hit that subscribe button and support the channel for more Carolina on My Mind content. Have a great day, and keep pounding.